So, Pinky, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. First, Aisha, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Pinky and I reside in Maryland. I started my career actually within the music field. I went to school for music education and as well as informational technology. After college, I decided to, of course, take a project coordinator position here within the Prince George's County Public Schools as a project coordinator. And what that looked like for me on a day-to-day basis was making sure that I orchestrated an environment where it collaborated schools to be able to utilize the performing arts to its full potential. So with that position, I was able to tap into my skill set for project coordinating and strategic planning. And I realized, well, I could definitely do way more in this space than probably in the music space. So I went back to the IT field, and that's when I landed my first position, of course, after proper training and gaining my certification and as a Scrum Master. I actually started with Kaiser Permanente, which, if you may or may not be aware, is a healthcare insurance company. And there I was able to facilitate two teams, or should I say, support two teams that consisted of seven developers. And how that looked like was two front end, two back end, and three testers on both teams. And with that, including, of course, myself as the Scrum Master and then the product owner. So with Kaiser Permanente, my main focus with the team, we were working on a project called Chat Live. And the Chat Live project allowed our members at that time to connect with our customer representatives in real time. So I saw those projects with both teams that were a subset of one, and they were working hand in hand. And I saw that from the implementation phase to the maintenance phase of the project. After Kaiser Permanente, I was able, of course, to then land another position at Code Hunter, which was a startup company. And with Code Hunter, that was a transitional period of coming from waterfall into agile. So I would definitely say the years I spent at Kaiser Permanente, I was able to utilize my skills as far as coaching, right? Because I had to coach people that didn't know anything about agile from that starting phase and to really getting them comfortable in the process of how Scrum is to work, right? So after really settling in that role, my main focus was to one, improve on the organizational level. I think oftentimes as Scrum Master, we miss the customer driven aspect. So how my day to day with a startup company really looked like for me was making sure that the product owner and I worked hand in hand to really um, bring clarity to the backlog and make sure the team understands it, apart from facilitating, of course, the Scrum events as far as the daily stand-up down to the retrospective. After Code Hunter, I landed at Intact Insurance. With Intact, I do support currently three teams, and that may seem busy, which it is, but it's very rewarding because I'm now in a place where I can really see the value that I bring to these teams and how that really looked like for me within the first year. I was able to improve one of my team's velocity from 22 to 52 points within the first year. And then I was also able to, with the other team, improve their KPIs. So that kind of coordinated with the organizational structure for the team. So in facilitating three teams, they're all consisting of seven developers, two front end, two back end, and three testers, as I stated before. And they do different things, right? So one of the teams, the project that I do work on are bonds, right? And enhancements, and the other two are financial statement enhancements. So I have been in a position where not am I only a servant leader, but I'm also able to really keep the team focused on, the goals, whether it be a product goal or a sprint goal. So because this project is coming to an end, and because I have for some time now been working on a temporary status as far as contracts, I'm looking for something more stable, right? That is more permanent and I can grow with and learn from. So that's why I'm here.
Right. Thank you, Pinky.
You're
So,
welcome.
welcome back to Aisha Tech platform. For all of my subscribers and my new subscribers, I welcome you all. By the way, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, right now is the time to do so because we're going to be having all this series. And as you all see, and one thing I ask from you all is just to like, share, comment, and let's share this goodness, right? Because it takes a lot of work and effort to bring this thing to you all. So the one thing we want is to promote and enlarge this channel, which is by you all subscribing. All right, back to the interview. So Pinky, so tell me, why did you become a Scrum Master? Given your background in music, how did that connect that, or even thinking that, oh, I can come from my background of being a musician or project manager around that music space,
Mhm.
now working in the tech space as a Scrum Master. So why did you do that transition?
All right. So, fun fact, right? Aisha, I actually, like I told you earlier, I wanted to transition back into the IT space. And for some reason, Scrum wasn't on the radar. Fun fact, I found out about Scrum while at the bar on a date. And basically, he told me to try it. And I really got into understanding the agile space, really understanding the mindset that has to be changed and how we can apply it to our day-to-day lives, right? First and foremost, the reason why I'm stuck in this field, right? And I can really see the growth for me, besides of why I got into it. Personally, I am a people person, right? I really do try to enhance my interpersonal skills daily. I thrive off, the connection with people. I thrive on the work habits that, can be produced while working with people. And because this role is all about the connection, right? The collaboration, the teamwork, right? It is a perfect fit, and I haven't turned back since.
Yeah, that's very good, Pinky. So
Thank you.
given the fact that you've described a lot of projects you've been part of from your different companies you worked for in the past or your current company, so tell me a time you failed on a project and what are the reasons and what was the lesson learned from that?
Absolutely. Oh, failure is a big subject, right? I think oftentimes within any role that we may get into, there may be always opportunities to grow, right? So I wouldn't necessarily call it times that I failed, right? Times I just didn't get it right the first go around. Okay. So initially, what recently I would say a project I'm working on had me tap into my project management abilities, right? And I had to create a Gantt chart. This is definitely far from my preview of what I do on a day-to-day basis as a Scrum Master. So the very first time I had to present this project to upper management, sweating bullets and everything, I didn't get it right. And that to me really looked like a failure, right? And when you're in a new space, right, in a new field, of whatever we do, right, is either we can take that opportunity and look at it as a failure, or you can assess, right, what is Scrum is all about, inspect where you can improve. So what I actually did was, of course, sat back, sat into the work that I was presented, and really uh, uh, um, had the moment and really had the moment of being transparent, okay, with them as far as the things I didn't understand, how they could help me improve what they were really looking for. So once that communication were had, right, I was out there, I was able to then look at ways that I can improve. The project is still ongoing, so there's still improvements that I'm working on.
Thank you, Pinky, for that. So speaking
You're
of
welcome.
failure, right? What are some typical challenges have you faced in your project or at work as a Scrum Master?
Okay. Some challenges I faced and maybe still facing, although I've been in this space for a while now. One is really finding the opportunity um to add value, or really just being in a space of really wondering if you're adding value to this organization. The organization the organization has an expectation, right? They have standards. Then you are there on a team level to produce a greatness with the team, right? And oftentimes, because this role is so repetitive, you kind of try to question, how am I adding value? So I'm continuously looking at team metrics, looking at asking teams for their feedback, right? And making sure that I am present, right, within the work that's being done on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that's very good. It's very resonates with me when you said repeatedly, and the
Yeah,
activity around getting feedback. That's very important. So
yeah.
sometimes as Scrum Master, you always wonder, what value am I giving if I'm
Well
not
done.
doing
Yes.
the work, and my effectiveness is measured on how other people are doing.
Mhm.
So that sometimes,
Exactly, exactly. And if you are a person that's very you have high standards, right, and doing things. Um, this job requires you to have a keen eye to the smallest things, especially if you're not used to the IT world, the terminology, all of the things that go into it, SDLC, right? You have to really have a keen ear and eye to certain things that you can improve on. And oftentimes, when you hear those feedbacks, it can be as little as respond time, right, to their concerns, or as big as, really kind of, solving the world problems, which oftentimes as Scrum Master, we can solve, at the first drop of a hat. But that's the beauty of this job, honestly.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So tell me, like, what mode of estimations you do use at work?
We do a story points, right? So we estimate with using the Fibonacci sequence technique.
All right. So let's just give a scenario here, right? Let's
Okay.
say right now we are in planning, like right now we're in planning meeting, and the team have had conversation around the story, and the team used the agile poker, and you have a developer, or let's say one or two or three developer voting the user story to be an estimate of 21 story points.
Mhm.
As a Scrum Master, when you see that, what would you do?
Right. So, usually, of course, if we are following the process of Scrum and Agile, right? We know that we want our sprint by sprint workload to be doable, right? So we don't want anything that is definitely an overcommitment. So usually, when I do see any developer estimating as high as they are, you're there to listen, right? You want to know as to why, right? But then when you look at the Fibonacci sequence and how we do it at the organization I'm at, we really don't put in anything within the sprint that's a 13, right? Over or 13 or more, I would say. Right, so we stop at an 8 story point when we're planting stories to pull into the sprint. So here, if I'm realizing that someone is trying to bring in a 21 story point, right? I automatically sense that it's going to be an overcommitment, especially for one person. So what we're doing, if that work is priority, we're then assessing what part of this work can we really break down to the smallest condensity, right? That we can work into the sprint. And that is where the incremental process and development come in. So not necessarily saying the 21 doesn't stand. We're saying we're taking the 21 points and then we're breaking it down, right? And pull them in sprint by sprint. So what's the first 8 story points we can work on, or how would this be divided in a time frame where maybe we can then have a little cross-functional work ethic going on, and everybody can kind of grab a piece of the story to work on. So that's usually how I approach things.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you, Charlene.
You're
So
welcome.
tell me about your relationship with a difficult stakeholder. I'll give an example of, if you've experienced a difficult stakeholder, and how did you handle that?
Yeah. Okay. So in this field, we're going to, I've experienced, I would say, stakeholders that, are fully vested in the agile mindset, and some people that quite prefer waterfall. They really don't care about agile. They really aren't for it. And oftentimes those pushback comes when I've experienced stakeholders that are still in the waterfall mindset that is trying to have the team overcommit, right, to issues that, of course, are important, but may or may not be doable within that sprint, right? So, how that looks like with myself and the product owner, we want to communicate. Reiterate what Scrum is all about, communicate abilities of the team, what we're working on, and utilize the negotiation part of Scrum, of Agile, right? What can we do right now, right? What is the most important? And oftentimes that works. Oftentimes that works. And how I usually ease the difficulty of a stakeholder is more so by making the work that is being done visible, right, to them. They're not in every meeting that I am facilitating, but a meeting like a sprint review, I'm making sure that they see the outcome of the work, right? Or they see what our next steps or goals are. So they're now slowly, hopefully, buying into the mindset and knowing that this process, doesn't mean that, they're slacking. They're actually working and look at what they're doing. So,
That's very good,
thank
Shirley.
you.
Very good answer. So, in your opinion, how do you think a Scrum Master should support a product owner? How can a Scrum Master better support a product owner?
Right. So
Experience.
first what I try to do, especially when I am in a different organization, or when I transition into different organizations, I try to understand the abilities and capabilities of the product owner that I'll be working so closely with, right? And oftentimes you get lucky with one that is well, experienced, and then one that isn't. And understanding their their concerns, their issues that they've had before I got there. And then what I try to do is have us on a bi-weekly schedule, right, where we can assess the backlog, talk about hardships that they may be facing. Because sometimes because they're, and this is my experience, because they're so stuck in their world, right, of really communicating with stakeholders and writing stories and so forth, they oftentimes don't know how to come and say, hey, Charlene, I need help, or Aisha, I need help. You know what I'm saying? So oftentimes that meeting helps lay all on the table and just have us in one space to prioritize the backlog. And a technique that I usually use is the mascot method. And what we do within the mascot method, we're trying to see, right, what we must have, what we shouldn't have, what we don't really need, and so forth, and assessing the stories in that manner. And I find my self, supporting them in that best way, or more so bringing clarity to the backlog? How does that look like? Oftentimes, when they are tasked to possibly facilitate a refinement, making sure the team is engaged, right? Making sure the team are asking all the questions that they need, because this may be the moment, right, that we can really grab a hold of our product owner that's a part of this team, to make sure the user stories are clear, acceptance criteria is clear, and everybody's on the same page.
That's very good. By the
Thank
way, if you have not yet subscribed to Aisha Tech, right now is the time for you to subscribe to Aisha Tech. And if you are interested in mentorship, do not hesitate to email us at admin@aishascrumtech.com. You can also visit our website at www.aishatech.com. The one thing I'm only asking is that if you've been enjoying this interview series and you want me to continue this interview series, you really have to go to the comment section and write hire Pinky or no hire Pinky. And this can help the channel and does encourage me to continue doing this series. All right, so Pinky, what questions do you have for me?
Absolutely. Well, thank you once again for taking the time with me. I really enjoyed our session today. What I really want to know with your environment, your working environment, if you all are just transitioning from a waterfall into Scrum, how well versed is everyone in their understanding of Agile in your company?
Oh, okay. I must confess, we are fairly new to Agile, right?
Okay.
So we have only one or two people that are actually open, that went through training, that are experienced, and have worked in the Agile space in the past. So we try to like create a pilot team. So with this team, they're gonna be coming in to help experiment this Scrum thing. So we're looking for a Scrum Master that can basically come in and help support this pilot team that we're trying to kickstart in this Agile journey. But I must say,
Mhm.
we have some people that are still not as open about doing Agile. But the goal is for me to have a Scrum Master that will be patient, that will come in and work with these people and meet them at where they are, and
Mhm.
then hopefully slowly transition and change their mindset into the Agile way of working. So that's the kind of space we are right now, and that's what we are looking for a Scrum Master.
Awesome. You kind of answered my second question, which was going to be well, the type of a Scrum leader you're looking for this particular role, right? But other than the key points that I heard, as far as making sure that um, someone that is well knowledgeable in what they're doing to help the team, transition and to kind of fight back from all those pushbacks that you will get on a normal day to day as a Scrum Master. What are some major challenges that you all are facing, not necessarily on the organizational level, but within Scrum teams, that you're hoping probably with in this year could be resolved?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Like I said, this team is not fully formed yet.
Mhm.
In the process of forming this team, but I already work with some of those people in that team, and I already know some of them are not as open to do Agile. And the challenge for sure that we have is people like being skepticism. Yeah, they have all this myth they've heard about Agile,
Mhm.
that, oh, it's going to work. It's just all about meetings. We don't plan. So all these different things are being said. And so hopefully our goal in this interview is to basically get the right person that have the right mindset, not only wanting to just run meetings, but is willing to train, coach, mentor, and at the same time to be very patient with our team. So it's not going to be easy, but we want someone that's actually open for the challenge. So that's why we're doing this series of interview.
Awesome. I have probably two more questions, if you can bear with me. The next one would be as far as accountabilities, right? What I see that you all also have Scrum Master slash project manager, excuse me. And of course, as we are on this search of a job That's what we see oftentimes. What would you say in your environment, in your organization, that looks like for a Scrum Master? Is that have and have, or you just are combining the roles? How's that combination looking like, right? For someone who have mainly more Scrum Master experience.
So we do not have hybrid, and we don't plan to mix the waterfall and agile teams. So when we hire this Scrum Master will be strictly a Scrum Master. And also the goal also is to change our BAs to like product owner. And that's why we need a Scrum Master that
Oh,
has
nice,
experience that can also
nice.
coach and train and also help this BA and help transition them to also be the PO so they can collaboratively work together in this pilot team. But we do have some part of our project that's waterfall that's always going to be like in waterfall. As we have our agile leader for excellence stating that it's not a good practice to combine both roles. So as of right now,
Yeah.
the goal is to keep the Scrum Master to be the Scrum Master and help support Scrum teams and agile teams, and still have our project managers supporting the traditional method of those projects, or maybe even sometimes some of those hybrid projects too, as we plan to do also cross-train all of our project managers, even though they'll still be doing their projects, but also learn and be open to know a little bit more about agile. So this can
Yeah.
benefit the whole organization as we move forward.
Hey, sounds great to me. Well, last but not least, I'm all about alignment. So I do understand, of course, this is a amazing, and it would be an amazing organization to work for if given the opportunity. But if it's not now, right? I hope we would have this conversation created a rapport that you would consider me for future opportunities. So for my own improvement, I would love to ask of your feedback and what you thought about this interview so that I am improving on my skill set for the future.
Definitely. As we just recently started this interview process, so we are at the early stage in this interview. We just interviewing people. So hopefully, as we continue to interview, you're gonna hear back from our HR team. But as of right
Yeah.
now, I think we had very good conversation. But this process gonna be continuing, so we'll see what we go from here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Pinky. Pinky was part of Aisha Tech, right? So was one of
I
our.
got to give a testimony.
All right, so go ahead,
No,
Pinky.
so when I actually like most of you, and I definitely hope that you are really engaged in this community because what Aisha has built is phenomenal. You can't get it elsewhere. And when I say you can't get it elsewhere, it's because I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere before getting this job, seriously. And I like the fact that it is suited for all sizes of, those that are searching for the position to those that are well vetted into the position. And I say that to say, when I first started as a Scrum Master, I was really looking for someone to guide me. God bless the day that I came. I don't even know how I came across Aisha's page, but I started like you are right now on YouTube, and I came up across someone who could clearly explain, clearly show to me steps to things that I needed to know. Her process was seamless, and I got hooked. Right. And I wanted to get under her mentorship. And I would say I had her for the first 2 months or so of my journey. And it has definitely been the foundation to where I am now. Right. And now I, of course, utilize this program for in my hardship moments. Like I did mention the Gantt chart, right? Aisha has a part of everything for everybody that's in need, right? And I just want to encourage you all to trust the process, right? This is a beautiful space to work in, right? You have to be a great thinker. You have to be innovative, creative, right? And you have to be a people person. You can't wake up every morning and not like people, right? Because you deal with people every day. But the fact of the matter is, you are under a guardianship, a mentorship like Aisha that's going to take you there. Invest in yourself, right? This is a person that doesn't gatekeep information. So many of these things, right, are being hidden. And for what? We are all, advancing to a place of really, being financially secure. And I thank God for you, Aisha, and what you're doing in your community and with what God has blessed you with. So definitely like, comment, subscribe, and go ahead and just book just book the class. Just book the class.
Good,
So
so
thank you
much,
so much.
Pinky. Okay. It was really nice having you, Pinky, and thank you
You too.
for giving honest feedback. And this is not paid, or I'm not forcing people to say all of these things, I promise.
Not at all.
By the way, if this has been valuable, like and subscribe, and don't forget that comment. Hi, would you hire Pinky or not hire Pinky? You have to
Hire me,
flood,
guys.
you have to flood the comment section with that so I can continue this series for next week. If not, I'm gonna stop it. Just kidding. So if this has been valuable, like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching this series. See you all again in our next series.